Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. I was tired. I just finished making a recording for you of a podcast of how I try to live up to my potential. And it was 11:15 at night, and I said, enough, I'm going to sleep. But I couldn't make myself go to sleep until I've read you this. It's a particularly inspiring story written by Mike Rowe, the guy who hosted Dirty Jobs. And it was anyway. It's about his favorite teacher. When I first met Fred King in September of '77, he and I were each beginning our first day at Overly Senior High School in Baltimore County, Maryland. I was a skinny freshman with a deep voice and a weird stutter, and he was Mr. King, a new teacher assigned to an anemic music department that consisted of one bloated choir filled with students who thought they had signed up for a free period. There is simply no way to overstate the impact of our first encounter. Remember George C. Scott's opening speech in Patton? Well, Patton was a sissy compared to King. King walked into the crowded classroom and greeted us with two words, "Shut up!" His voice was stunningly loud. In the silence, he passed out a piece of sheet music far beyond anyone's ability to sight read. It was a six-part a cappella arrangement that appeared to be in Latin. Walking quickly to the piano, Mr. King gave us the pitch and started to conduct. I don't know what he was expecting, but when no sound emerged from our baffled windpipes, he looked curiously around the room and then at his own hands as if the problem had originated there. Frowning, he gave us the pitch a second time and began to conduct again. Silence. "This is the Overly Senior High School Concert Choir, is it not?" When no one replied, Mr. King closed his eyes and took several deep breaths, as though he was trying to calm himself. Then he came unhinged. Slapping his hand on the piano with a mighty wallop, Mr. King launched into a tirade that featured expressions most often heard in pool halls and saloons. He foamed, he raved, he swore. Veins appeared in his neck and forehead. He tore the sheet music into shreds and threw them directly into our stunned faces. He cursed our incompetence and wondered aloud what cruel twist of fate had brought him in contact with such a, quote, pathetic group of clueless mutes. Then he kicked the music stand across the classroom in disgust, pointed to the open door, and said, "If you're not ready to sing," he bellowed, "get the hell out!" It was a phenomenal exit. Half the class gathered their books and never looked back. Some actually ran. When they were gone, Mr. King slammed the door behind him, stomped back to the piano, and glared at those who dared remain. For at least 10 seconds, he just stood there, breathing deeply and trying to get himself under control. Then his face cracked in half. Technically, one might describe the phenomenon as a smile, but if the intended consequence was mirth, we'll need to settle on another term. The cruel gash that slowly opened between his nose and chin revealed a stunning rictus of rotten enamel. Baby teeth were crowded up against giant incisors. Molars sprouted from the spot normally reserved for canines, and the two front teeth, though properly placed, were the size of small thumbs, and jutted desperately past his ever-widening lips, as if trying to escape the diseased gums from which they hung. Beth Miller gasped, Cindy Schultz screamed, and the rest of us lurched backward as the magnitude of this dental disaster was slowly revealed. When he had our attention completely and totally, he spoke. "Ladies and gentlemen, the cowards have departed. Let's have some fun." For the next 3 years, that's exactly what we did. We talked, we laughed, we learned. We beheld a treasure trove of fake teeth. And of course, we sang. With no regard for standard curriculum and not one shred of political correctness, Mr. King went about the business of challenging us like no other teacher would ever dare. Musically, there were pieces like Vaughan Williams's Hodie and Bach's Mass in B minor, ambitious works so far beyond our ability we didn't know any better, and learned and performed them anyway. But the personal challenges were even greater. When Mr. King found out I had never sung before, he assigned me a solo in our first concert that was several notes out of my range. When he saw the fear on my face, he kept me after class for private voice lessons. When he learned that I stuttered, he suggested I audition for the school play. By suggested, I mean demanded. After stammering my way through a monologue, he stopped me. "Mikey," he said, "this character doesn't stutter. Understand? Get into the character. You can stutter on your own time." Without questioning the glibness of his direction, I simply followed it and read the passage again, flawlessly. A light bulb flashed. New possibilities opened before me. Anyway, that is an excerpt from the wonderful book As I Heard It by Mike Rowe, and it really moved me. I hope it moves you. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.